Hi guys, it's Rick Shiels down here at Quest Golf Academy here at Prairie Sports Village. I'm going to be testing and reviewing the new Mizuno S18 Wedge. I've taken it out on the golf course. I'm going to give you my feedback out, what I figured out on the golf course with it. I'm then going to be testing it today in the Teaching Academy on GC Quad hitting Real Pro V1s. Now let's start off by looking at this actual wedge. This is one hell of a looking wedge. I love the look of the T7 wedge. This is the new version of the T7 and it just looks different gravy. It's so simplistic. It is so well designed. It's got kind of fat features as well, oddly enough. It's got quite a fat sole on it and quite a fat top edge. But because it's been rounded off on some of the edges around the corners of the golf club, it looks super sleek, which is actually quite a hard skill to master. The S18, what they've done with this golf club is they've figured out that actually more lofted golf shots use grooves that are slightly more spaced apart and slightly shallower, whereas 48-degree wedge, like a pitching wedge, they want deeper grooves a little bit closer together. So through the whole range of the lofts of this golf club, you get different groove patterns and different ways that the centre of gravity is moved. Now I've only got the 56 degree here. I've got it in 14 degrees bounce, which is quite a generous amount of bounce. And I've also, this golf club comes in chrome finish and a black finish. They've dropped the blue finish from the T7, which is probably for the best really, because as much as I love it, I think it's one of those blue finishes that really do date very quickly and also kind of wears out a little bit as well. So as soon as I got it, I took it out on the golf course and give it a whirl around, some short shots, some chips, some pitches, some bunker shots. And I was getting tremendous feel off this golf club. I was getting a really nice soft feel off a wedge, which you know I'm a big fan of. This is a forged wedge and it's got, you know, their Mizuno's favorite material, boron, in it. So it actually gave me a really soft feeling and a very responsive action when I was pitching the shots into the green. I wouldn't say it was the highest spinning wedge I've tested ever, but it was giving me good zip from a wedge that has just been literally taken out the box. So now moving back on indoor, testing it on GC Quad, just getting some real numbers on some launch points as well. I'm going to hit some shots at 100 yards and then bring it back into about 50 yards as well and hit some shots into that. We've got quite a lot of sunshine today coming into the bay, so a black finish might be better because that chrome is really chrome today. That is shiny, but let's give it a hit. I like the look of it behind it. Like I say, it's kind of got little fat features to it, but the way it's been shaped together kind of disguises a lot of it. I can sympathise with those features as well. This is 100 yards where I've put the flag. And we'll take that every day. Thank you very much. I don't get a lot of feel on a full wedge shot, but that felt nice. It's hard to get the real softness. I always recommend if you are looking at a wedge and when options are available to do so, get out on the golf course and test it short game, chipping, pitching, because that's where you get the feel best. 11,000 spin on that, 99 carry, good high spin numbers there from a 56 degree wedge. That should be nice. Come out a little bit hotter. Carrying there at 105. Feels good, the wedge. I like, when I was out on the golf course, well, I liked the interaction with the ground. I said this is a 14 degree bounce. It comes in loads of different bounce and loft options, as you would imagine with all wedges now. But I was actually getting really nice turf interaction with this wedge when I was just clipping it around the greens. Good high spin number again. That's why I'm kind of looking for a couple of numbers here. Consistency on distances. That was about 5 or 6 yards separated, and consistent spin numbers. Spin numbers were very consistent there. Distance was a little bit out, but not much. That should be absolutely down the neck of it. It's a little bit hot on a couple of the shots. 3 or 4 yards gap between the first shot and the second and third, which, you know, a bit of it will be pilot error. A bit of it will be me not being perfect at hitting 100 yards every time, but I never want a wedge to come out too hot. I suppose 3 or 4 yards is very manageable. We've got one more shot with the full 56 at 100 yards. I'm glad that sun went down the last one because that chrome finish is hard to look at in the sun. Sit down. It's just flying a little bit long. I must have been a bit stronger today. Good numbers though. I like the flight of that wedge. I love the feel I was getting. I know, like I mentioned before, it's harder to get feel on a full wedge shot. Spin numbers were averaging there at 11,500. And for that kind of just over 100 yards shot, that is like on the money. It's perfect. I think I've seen best wedges that I've tested topping closer to 12,000 RPM spin on a brand new wedge. So they're not the most spinny wedge, and that's kind of what I was seeing out on the golf course as well. I was seeing that they were checking up quite nicely, but I could tell they weren't really gripping its teeth in there. Let's move back to 50 yards now. Let's bring it a little bit closer in, see if I can get any different feels from a shorter shot. Just going to hit some half wedges to this 50-yard flag. What I do like about the sole of the golf club, it gave me a lot of flexibility to open the head up if I needed to. So just opening that face just sits a little bit nicer on that bottom edge, because it is quite fat and rounded, the bottom edge. Kind of relates to this club quite a bit. It feels like it's got a lot of adjustability where I can just open the face up a little bit. I think I might need to do this for this shot. Just open the face up a touch. Kind of pitch that in there around 50 yards. Yeah, I like that flight. Came out nice. Stopped quick by the looks of things. 49 carry. Yeah, 4 yards of potential roll out there, but lovely pitch. I flighted it quite low, 7,400 spin rate, which is actually pretty good for a 50-yard shot. Like I said, I've seen clubs get 8,000 RPM before on this range of shot. That might have been using a 60 degree actually though, 56. It's never going to spin super high. It's good for distance control there on the second hop. Feels nice. Like I say, I was getting lots of more response when I was out on the golf course, getting the feel of the shots. But even on the little pitch, 50-yard pitches here, I love the idea that I can just open the face and it still sits very comfortably on the ground. And I feel confident that I can pitch that in there and it's going to grip its teeth. But yet not completely go crazy spin rates. It's going to be a little bit short, that one actually. Bang on line, but a little bit short. Just go one more. I just didn't quite catch that one perfect. It's ran out nicely, but I'm trying to kind of land these closer to 50 yards really. That was a good 10 yards short. More my error. I could tell as soon as I hit it. Let's go one more. That's better. That's better. Spin hard. Yeah, I like the feel of those ones. You just feel like you can kind of zip them in there quite nicely. Confident. As a wedge, I think it's got some great characteristics. I think the look of the golf club is apart from like the Cobra Pure, I don't think there's a simpler looking wedge out there. It's so classic and simple designs. I like the idea. I've not had a chance to test it. I like the idea that the center of gravity moves up and down as the loft dictates it to do so. I like the idea that they're changing the groove structure potentially, but again, I've not had a chance to test that. But it is thinking differently to some brands out there as well. Feel-wise, on the short shots, felt phenomenal on the golf course. Really soft. Just wasn't getting loads and loads of grip. And out here, even just testing it on GC Quad, I was liking the feel. Just wasn't getting ample. Wasn't getting ridiculous amounts of grip, but enough to make it a very, very good wedge. Mizuno S18. Very nice. I think if you're looking for a simple design, this should definitely be high on the agenda. And if you're playing sunny weather, definitely get the black version. I think the glare will be much less damaging. Guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up. Comment below, what do you think of the Mizuno S18? And do you look for feel or do you look for more for spin? Would love to hear your thoughts down below. Let us know. And subscribe to the channel if you're new. Keeps you connected to all my content. And we'll see you next time. Mizuno S18 Wedge.